In this video, we'll look at Binance CEO's outlook on the crypto market. Being the CEO of the biggest crypto exchange in the world, it's important to hear what he thinks about the market at current prices. In January this year, Changpeng Zhao, the CEO of Binance, had a net worth of $96 billion, and he consistently posts on his Twitter account about his predictions and analyses. Binance sees a daily trading volume of $76 billion on its exchange. So it's safe to say that the CEO of Binance knows a thing or two about cryptos. First, he reminded everyone of the previous bear cycles and said that we'll make it through this one as well. He said that this 80% slump was pretty much expected. He then talked about the inevitability of this crash and talked about his current holdings. He also said,
I think fundamentally, many companies, when we're in the bull market, many companies just sort of expected that the bull market will continue indefinitely. Markets don't do that. Market go bull, bear, just goes in cycles. So we understood that, and we just held a fairly large amount of cash reserves during the bull markets. And luckily also for us, our income comes into different cryptocurrencies, and stablecoin is one of those. Stablecoins accounts to about 25% to 30% of our income. So we're relying heavily on that now. So yeah, I think overall we're just because we're in a new industry, we are quite expectant of the cycles. So just having that mindset really helps, I think.
He then talked about his predictions for stablecoins. Talking about stablecoins, there are two very important things that happened recently. First, a Biden official said that the U.S. government could pass stablecoin rules by the end of the year. So, this legislative package, which has yet to be finalized or introduced, would define stablecoins for the purposes of U.S. regulation and address how they're used. It would also preserve existing regulatory authority over the sector. This just means the stablecoin market is closer than ever to being fully regulated by the U.S. government, and it's going to have huge implications. Another big news for regulation was that the EU has agreed on micro-regulation to crack down on crypto and stablecoins. This has made the EU the first continent with crypto asset regulation. The MiCA regulation aims to protect consumers by requesting stablecoin issuers to build up a sufficiently liquid reserve. This again will increase FUD in the stablecoin market, so we need to be prepared for that. Coming back to Binance CEO, he then talked about his investing strategies, saying that he sees bear markets as a buying opportunity.
We're looking at investing more. In bear markets, there will be more consolidation. And the guys who have cash and the guys who are left standing, who have very strong business models and strong product will benefit. When the next bull market comes, we're in a very good position to take advantage of that. And then the investments, M&As are all tied to that. For retail investors, the first thing, of course, is to survive. So make sure that you have enough money that your lifestyle is not impacted. The second thing, if you have extra money, now is actually not a bad time. Well, different people use different strategies. I don't want to recommend any specific strategy, but some people micro seller, El Salvador, they're buying now so that the average cost actually comes down. And if they can last for a few through this bear market, on the next bull market, they'll have more holdings. So now it's actually a very cheap time to buy. If we're in a bear market, I want to be careful giving financial advices, not giving financial advices. So, but for retail investors, it's the same. Focus on my advice is always the same. Focus on a small number of projects that you know well. And if you know that the project is going to survive, and you can tolerate the risk, by all means. But understand that tomorrow the market may go down even further. It may go up, it may go down. Nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow. But longer term horizon, the industry is staying. The industry is not going in.
He then talked about the 4-year cycles we've seen for Bitcoin in the past. Let's try to understand these 4-year cycles. As per the short history of the 2009-born Bitcoin, the market cycles lasted approximately 4 years. The Bitcoin halving event, which happens once every 4 years, is believed to be in the middle of the market cycle. This is what happened in 2012, 2016, and 2020 halving events. Every low of a major cycle never reached the top of the previous one. Basically, the lowest price of 2017's cycle, which was $3,120, was way above the 2013 cycle's top at $1,150. Now let's look at what he said about this.
it's very hard to predict the future, but historically we've seen very accurate 4-year cycles. But there's also many things in the world that are 4 years. The Bitcoin halving is every 4 years. The United President's election is every 4 years. The stock market goes through a 4-year cycle as well. If you look at it historically, so it doesn't mean that the next cycle will be exactly 4 years. But I think there is a pretty decent probability that that might happen. But if we look at all the other different things that you just mentioned, that you said are different, the inflation, the war, everything else, those things should really help the crypto industry. Those things should really push people to want, the inflation should push people to want to hold a limited supply asset. So the war and the more the world is divided, the more that the Bitcoin is a very global currency that actually shines. So the more those issues happen, the more people should need, the advantages of crypto blockchain is actually more clear. So yeah, to be honest, to be very frank, I was kind of surprised that Bitcoin only made an all-time high at 68,000. I thought it was going to go much higher, but again, I was wrong. So I'm never good at predictions, but all of those things in theory should help.
He then moved on to talk about Bitcoin mining, Ethereum mining, and also talked about the decentralized finance sector. Talking about mining, the investment banking giant D. Davidson said that it sees a buying opportunity in the current crisis among crypto miners. Most publicly listed miners' cash is made up of holded Bitcoin or crypto they mine and hold on their balance sheets. As a result, miners have started selling off their Bitcoin holdings to keep their operations going and service their debt. But he said that the catch is that markets have overpriced these risks and mining stocks are actually super attractive. Now let's come back to Binance CEO.
And so, for example, if we look at any cryptocurrency or blockchain, Bitcoin, I do think is by far the most decentralized blockchain, cryptocurrency, etc. But if you look at Bitcoin mining, it's quite centralized. Like, the top two miners top 2 or 3 mining pools will control more than 51% of the mining power. If you look at Ethereum or BNB chain, you can still associate a founder with those 2 blockchains and many other blockchains. So Ethereum, in that sense, if Vitalik suggests some changes, most likely the community will go with his suggestion. For BNB, myself, we can still identify that, even though I'm less technical, much less technical than Vitalik. But if I suggest something, the community most likely will support it. So that's centralization as well. So Ethereum and BNB having the identifiable founder is actually a less decentralized mechanism.
He then talked about how the crypto industry is advancing rapidly every single year. He said he's very optimistic about where the industry is heading from here in the next 10 to 20 years. Let's also look at some big news for crypto adoption. We know that Bitcoin is already legal tender in El Salvador, but that's just one country. With this bill, things are going to change massively for Bitcoin. Senator for the state of Nuevo Leon is certain that Bitcoin must be recognized as a legal currency because its implementation might promote worldwide financial inclusivity. According to the senator, the fact that more than half of Mexico's population lacks a formal savings account basically boils down to a lack of trust and appreciation in banking institutions, and this is where Bitcoin comes in. Now let's look at what the Binance CEO said about crypto adoption.
I think, number one is it's not like win or not, it's not succeed or not. Like we're all here persistently, consistently pushing forward. Sometimes a bit faster, sometimes a bit slower, depending on overall market conditions, macroeconomics, and other factors. But we're all here. We're not going anywhere. We're just consistently and persistently pushing this industry forward. So I think 10, 20 years from now, 20 years from now, people will be using blockchain, crypto, the way they use the internet without mentioning it. Today, I don't say like, hey, I'm going to use the internet to message you. We just use it we just use it. There's many different applications on it. So I think 10, 20 years, we will get there. 10 years might still be a little bit tough, to be honest. Even if you look at the internet today, when we talk about video conferencing, sometimes still doesn't work that well. But I think eventually, like people shouldn't be talking about blockchains. People shouldn't be talking about consensus nodes and all this other geeky stuff. People should be like, hey, I'm sending you some money. Hey, I'm doing a fundraising globally. I'm selling my art globally. I'm gonna hire a trainer, fitness trainer in the metaverse. So all of the things should come naturally and without mentioning any technology. We will get there. It's just a matter of time.
To summarize, he thinks Bitcoin is going to go up in the long run, but isn't sure when this bear market will end. He's quite certain that the 4-year cycle will take place again, giving way to another bull market for Bitcoin in the next couple of years. He also said that retail investors need to take advantage of this bear market as they can accumulate at massive discount prices. Now let's look at some more news and data for the crypto market. One of the most popular on-chain metrics in the industry, NVRV, shows that short, mid, and even long-term trading returns are in the pain zone, which is historically a sign of an upcoming price reversal. Now, that doesn't guarantee that it'll happen very soon. It just ensures us that it's inevitable. With an NVRV value of 100%, investors could sell their holdings with a 100% profit on average, which is historically the exact point of a reversal in the cryptocurrency market. Also, there's another important data we need to look at. It says here that Bitcoin whales and investors heavily buying the dip at 19K. According to crypto on-chain data firm Glassnode, spot buying whales have been stacking BTC at a remarkable pace. Cumulatively, these entities have been buying up about 140K Bitcoin per month from crypto exchanges. So I'd just like to end the video by saying that I'm overall optimistic in the long term. I believe that a reversal is in the cards and the long-term holders will be rewarded. And this is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you liked it, please share it with your friends and family. Also, please like this video and leave a comment about your predictions for the crypto market. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.